You know what he would be equal to? A child pornographer today. We don't like those guys, people who take children and make them do pornography and put it on the internet. Child sex trafficking, people who kidnap kids and make them to have sex with adults for money and drug them to keep them like that. Yeah, we think about that stuff, we think those people are messed up. People who did that, that's how bad they hated Matthew the tax collector. That's how bad they hated Mary Magdalene the prostitute. And guess what? Jesus had both of them as his disciples. Because he can change anybody who's willing. Listen to me. If you're in this room and you think you are so messed up, God can't use you, you're wrong. You're flat wrong about God. God wants to use you to be able to do the amazing. Can somebody put some WD-40 on that wheel? I can't even continue until that thing is in the elevator. Bless God, we all gonna eat because of that woman, so it ain't her fault. But whoever running this conference center needs to present. You get this on any other, you want to listen to me right now. Some WD-40 on the wheel that's pulling the ribs. Of course we all want to eat the ribs, but I want to preach. I was on a roll there one night. I was feeling it. So you're like, it's getting good right now. And then squeaky wheel roll by. I tell you this, Pastor Chris, when I come into town, I keep it real, I don't keep it. I ain't in here doing church. See, if you do church, you can't do what I just did. And you can't do it on video. But I ain't doing church. You know what I'm doing? Life, relationships, people. You matter. Not this stinking sermon, not this contest, not this conference. I don't give a dang about this conference. You know what I care about? I care about people. I don't care about this message. I care about you. I surely do not care about that car with the squeaky wheel. But I do care about young people. And see, that's why I don't mind breaking the rules of the game in order to communicate and get on your level and speak to you where you're at. Your friends want to come to that, but they won't come to that if you don't help lead the changes in your church. And if you don't have the right to be heard, you won't be heard. How many of you feel that God wants to do something great with your life? Raise your hand. Sorry? Raise your hand. Okay. Raise your hand. How many don't know where to start? Honestly, you don't know where to start. Say, I know it, but I don't know where to start. I don't even know where to go. Sometimes, right? My wife would say, más o menos. Más o menos. My wife's Mexican. Oh. It means like so, a little, más or menos, like a little bit, a lot or a little. It means like so. Más o menos. And they always go like this, más o menos. My mother-in-law, she's Mexican, as Mexican is. And my father-in-law, man, he's orale homes, like Mexican. Like an old school, like ranchero. Like them Mexicans are different than like Mexicans who are like, ¿Quién quieres, vato? Like he ain't that. He ain't that kind of Mexican. He's the kind of Mexican that's like big old hat, big old belt buckle boots, and like walking in like, keep us so. And he go like this. Keep us so, gringo. Gringo, mijo. That means my white son. And now I'm his son-in-law. He's cool people though. I love my father-in-law. He's a hard-working brother, man. I would not get into a wrestling match with that dude. He's about 5'2", all muscle, just stocked like a bull. And he walked in a room and he's just like, he got this cool mustache too. He's a G, man. This is real. I'm trying to touch him at the same one time, you know, but I was afraid he'd shoot me in my sleep, so I didn't. But más o menos is one of those things that says so. Anyway, here's what I want to spend the rest of our time doing. What do you think would help your current ministries back at home? What needs to change in your homes? Now listen, I almost want to kick these adults out of here, to be honest with you. I'm halfway asking anything I want to ask that they have, because we got all video. If you want to get an answer, you listen. But you won't be honest in there, most likely. But I'm gonna ask you just keep it real, like it's just us. Because here's the reality: these folks got good hearts. I know sometimes it's easy to look like, man, what they're doing, this doesn't work. And I'm sitting sleeping. Your mind is somewhere else. You need to listen in some y'all. That's real, right? That's real. Isn't that what really goes down? It's sad to say it, right? It's almost hard to hear me say that right now. It's like, dang, man, that's real talk, but dang, you ain't supposed to say that. You're the preacher. You're the one that's supposed to keep the whole show going the whole time. You're the puppeteer. You're supposed to make it seem like, no, everyone's listening. Yeah, have fun, preach, have fun. We all sit there and act like we're doing it. Okay? Right? Raise your hand if I'm keeping it real and I'm telling the truth right now. That's all they need to see. So, guess what? Most of y'all who just raise your hand that that's what's really going on, also raise your hand and say, God wants to do something great in your life. What would be greater than helping transform and move your church from a place right now that isn't really connecting and relating to your young people and to you, and actually being able to meet you where you're at and meet your needs? How bomb would that be in 2 years for you to look back and say, hey, I was a part of something that changed, and see these 150 young people around here? That's blessed. Let me tell you about 40 young people last year. I got to Corona and there was 40 kids. And honestly, I almost feel like, I don't know how many's in this room, but it wasn't much more than what's in this room right now. 40 kids. And I told you all when I was preaching, they were literally climbing over the chairs while I was preaching. Crazy. I just last night on the internet at Starbucks, because we're 3 hours past, their service started. My boy, he's a worship leader and it's his birthday today. And so he'll call me, trying to set me up to talk to me and see if I'll remember. He does it every year. He'll call me like, what's up, man? What's going on? Dude, what's good? Yeah. He's from Atlanta. He's like, yeah, just talking to me. And he'll try to talk to me like it's a normal every day, just to see if I'm gonna say happy birthday. So that's what he's doing right now. I know it's happy birthday day. Last night we was watching our service on the internet last night. Because we got some tech kids that just know a lot about technology, and I told them this: hey, find a way to record it, get some videos in there, I'll pay for the video camera, you research it, you show me that you're willing to learn how to edit videos, and I'll pay for the editing and the video equipment. You want to make videos? Here's the websites of the videos I think are funny or cool and the kind of stuff you can make to relate to your friends. So guess what? 3 of my kids said, all right, and they got on Google and they searched how to make some videos with Vegas Video or different programs that come with a Mac, iMovie, all the rest, or Windows Movie Maker, and they started learning how to do it. I got 3 kids now. Every week they make videos that talk about the announcements coming up or whatever, and they research, and they're getting better every week, because each week they get on the internet and they're stealing ideas from other churches of 15,000, 20,000, and they're coming, and there's only 40 kids, 50 kids, but these 40, 50 kids are starting to see quality of work that churches of 15,000 are doing. So guess what happened? It started being dope to come to. And then the kids started doing worship that wasn't just the same old stuff, but they was like, man, let's try to reach where our students are at and really do it. So we went there with it. Then some of our kids like to paint, they like to do dancing, they like to do spoken word, they like to do poetry. So what we started doing is this: we stopped doing worship the way that we've always done it. I got a question. Tell me what worship is, real quick. Just tell me what worship is. What's worship? When somebody says, man, worship, that's what, we're going to, pray worship time tonight, right now. What do they mean? Tell me. Anybody. It's real easy. There's no trick question. It's just simple. I just want to know, make sure that we're speaking the same language. Somebody says praise and worship. What are they talking about? Right here. Wait for us. Somebody says praise and worship. What are they talking about? Can I ask real quick, what's in your socks? You play soccer? wear the cool North Carolina short, but they don't have pockets. But yeah. He figured out, he got a cell phone right here and the hotel key right there. I got a wife, she carries all that stuff. If I did, my stuff might be logged in my socks too. Did you watch the World Cup? Yeah? That's how they do it there too, huh? They just put stuff right there. Right there. Anybody watch the World Cup? Raise your hand. Like 2-3 of us? That's so crazy. That's the #1 sport in America. I'm sorry, outside of America, but Americans don't care less, man. Soccer is the #1 sport in the world. Did you know that? Did you not know that? The #1 sport in the world is soccer. Basketball. Basketball, you show up play basketball, you might get 20,000 people, 25,000 people to do it. You know how many people they get to show up at every soccer game? 100,000, 90,000, 80,000. These folks are crazy. You go around any part of the world, they are playing soccer. They're not playing basketball, they're playing soccer. So last night, we had an all-worship night where 1 year later, let me tell you what's happening. We had 400 students last night. We had kids over to one corner, and we just buy a bunch of easels and canvases. And we tell them, bring your own canvas. We bring some paint, they bring their own paint. During worship, when we say praise and worship, somebody raise your hand again and tell me, what is praise and worship? The part of your service, praise and worship, is what? Yeah.
Praying.
Huh? Yeah, praying. Somebody else. What else? What do you do during it? Yeah. Glorify God. Good. Did you have any of that? Oh, that's the same one. Someone else. What about you back there? Praise and worship. Don't try to put off on me. You're not playing it. Yeah, yeah. Say it again, I'm sorry. Yeah, good. How about you? I'll go you now. Yeah, you can bring. You got caught turning around. Singing! There we go. Singing. Right. What else? What else takes place? Yeah. Dancing can take place. What else happens? Folks are getting a shout out, right? Music, right? Yeah, speaking in tongues, right? The whole thing. The essence of worship, we're going to touch on tonight in our service in here. I want to talk to you, I want to redefine it. We did a night last night, I've done a series called Redefining the Spiritual. And last week I preached a sermon called Redefining Worship. What does worship mean to God in the Bible? Not what have we made it on earth in our churches, but what does it mean to God? Because it doesn't matter if what you're doing is what your church is doing, is what you like. It doesn't matter if that's not what God wants. So we've got to find out there and then, what does God really want from us in worship, and we've got to find a way to do it. So last night, we had students who were painting. We had students who would get up and do spoken word. We had students all throughout the worship part of the service. Why? Because we think all that stuff is worship. It's not just something you do an offering. Well, here's the reality. Your students, your friends want to go somewhere where they're going to be valued, they're going to be celebrated, and they're going to get to see stuff that's relevant to them. So the question I want to ask you is this. What needs to change in your current youth ministries in terms of what's going on in that context so that it would be more inviting, or something that your friends or something that you think it would just improve? Even if it's a simple improvement, I want to hear the best ideas in this room. Because if we take all the good ideas here and we find one great one out of them, that's what you know what a great idea is? It's a collection of a bunch of good ideas. So I want as many good ideas as I can get, and then we'll go from there. What do you think needs to change or can be different that would make it easy for you, even you yourself, to be like, you know what, if this happened, it would be dope. I would really love to be a part of something like that. Yeah, right.
Music.
And tell me what you mean by that. When you say the music needs to change or the music needs to... That's all right, I just want to hear your thoughts on it.
Music, like the music now is like boring and traditional, and you like don't listen to it, but if it's on music that we listen to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's good. Hey, that's perfect. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you this. What's your name? Yeah. Laura. You are courageous. Some people who move in the gifts of the Spirit, here's somebody who they're prophetic, they speak words. Is that familiar to you? You've seen and heard that kind of stuff. Some people who do that need a loud song behind them. They need to just preach the message. They need to have a suit and a tie on and be sweating and all the rest. God don't need that to speak His word. And sometimes when God gives me something for somebody, I don't, and I'm just so casual and normal about it, it's hard to even spot that that's what's taking place. But I'm telling you something. You're courageous, and there's a strength inside of you that is like steel wrapped in velvet. And that's the word picture God gave me for you. Steel wrapped in velvet. See, the velvet is the soft, beautiful side of it that is around it. And that's the part that people will see, and it's beautiful, and it's to be cherished and valued, and that's you as a person, as a young lady. But there's a strength in you that's steel, and steel is unbendable, except for the heat that God can provide that is so intense that it will only bend, so it would require something much stronger than the steel. The only thing that's going to be stronger than God put in you is God. And so just know that you have some strength, and you don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it, and don't let nobody look down on you because of it. Don't you be embarrassed or ashamed of it, neither. Because God will not shame of you, and He don't want you to be ashamed of Him. And most people in this room want what you got. They want what you got. The reality is what you just said is true. The music's boring and traditional. Raise your hand if you agree with that. Keep your hand up, 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 keep your hand up. I want to see him. It's alright, it's alright. Hey, look around the room. Wait. Look around the room. You see all these hands? Hey, I want to teach you something right now. I want to teach all y'all something right now. I know your hand getting tired, but put the dang thing up. Right here. That's leadership. When you're willing to say what the whole room feels, that's leadership. Don't be afraid of it, because had you been quiet, something that everybody feels and can change, and there's things we can do, never would have got said, because everybody's too afraid to stand out on their own and put themselves out there, because you don't want people looking at you, laughing and giggling, because they are also insecure, so they won't lead. But you're not like that. Don't become like that. Be you. Put your hands down. I know some of y'all are big. The blood was moving out and was tingling. Y'all were negative preachers. We got to stand on our feet all day long. Not me though. That's why I just try to preach short. Standing up on my feet all night long. Let me tell you this. This is just to collect good ideas. You know what this is for? This is so that you can realize the area that God is calling you to transition and change things and to be a part of it. What else? What else would change? That was good. That's really good what I think. We'll go here. What do you mean?
Something that you can invite your friends, because most of the time we're like church board, something like that.
Like what? Give me an idea of what usually gets invited, what you're usually told to invite people to that's boring, and then give me an idea that you have, and maybe everybody else can think of something that's like, if it was like this, that'd be easy to bring my friends to. Something, just anything that's kind of like, man, I don't want to bring my friends. Something that's boring. Give me any idea that you got. Because I agree with you. Okay, so let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. Things like family and fun day that goes to 4:30 and it's not really fun. I already know this time. I get this time. But it's not really fun. Why is it not fun?
It's just church.
All right. Somebody said something over here. Why is it not fun?
It's the same routine.
All right. Same about this. No. Look, I want your ideas, and there's some things that are broken we can't fix. I don't want those ideas. Those in the nation. You do realize that, right? So one of your ideas is to get folks that get slain every week, not to get slain. The reality is, there's some people that just, that's where they're at, and God bless them. We just have to understand that that's where they're at. And our job is to love them no matter what. Here's why. If you don't love that person, you're just as guilty as everything you don't like about your church. That don't love your friends, that you don't want to bring your friends to. You got to love the crazy folks that sometimes seem like they're super uber religious or just doing it for this, that, or the other. You got to have the same heart towards them as you want towards your friends who are jacked up or messed up, or else guess what? You're just as guilty as the thing you don't like. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I understand where you're coming from, and if I'm true to the game, I will say this. I notice that stuff too when I'm in church. I'm like, partner, come on, homie, you got saved last week. You can't get saved every week. You just can't. You get saved, and then you live it out. You get discipled and sanctified. You know, so I understand. I get that. I just do. So I want to come back here. Y'all keep your ideas turning. This is what I want to hear. What idea would be easy? Now, that's I get. I'm going to leave it. Now give me an idea of something that would be easy to bring your friends to. That's fine. That's fine. A cookout. Huh? So church outdoors anytime you got bugs. Alright. So somebody else. What's something else easy to, it'd be like, man, I bring my friends to this. That'd be easy to invite my friends to church if we did stuff like this. For y'all, I know y'all don't use all the rest. Here's what we're doing. This is a little different in your day, as you can tell by walking in. My premise is this. Here's my premise. My premise is too many preachers show up at conferences and they want to tell the students stuff. Today, you tell me stuff. Why? Because I cannot speak to my audience if I don't know where my audience is at. And too many preachers, too many pastors don't even know where their students are at because they don't want to hear the answers that you're giving me right now. They don't want to hear it because they take it personally and they take it, they're insecure and they're like, you talking about the stuff I'm leading. I don't want to hear that. So the problem is you don't love God. And that's what they do. Why? Because they're really insecure on the inside and they don't want to hear your statements that you're giving to. But guess what? That's not me. I want to hear it. I need to hear it. Why? Because this will help us make sure we don't miss giving you an environment that should be easy to be able to follow Christ in. It shouldn't be hard. The part that's hard is dying to yourself. The part that shouldn't be hard is living it out amongst each other at church. That ought to be the easy part. Because I'll tell you what, it's easy for the folks who like it. They love that junk. You know they love it. They love it. Well, if they get to love their church, I just think that everybody ought to feel the same way. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy when you leave. It's going to be just as hard not to lust, not to want a guy's affection, not to try to watch stuff you shouldn't watch, do things, drink, smoke, all the rest that you see folks trying to do in temptation. That stuff ain't never going to get easier, no matter what the church is like. You know what will get easier is you come in there getting the kind of strength and the support you need because you have changed the environment to meet the needs of your generation. That's what we're trying to accomplish here, just so you guys know where we're at. So I'm asking these questions. And here's the idea. What's said here stays here. And my job is to collect information so that I can sit with the leaders of your churches, the youth pastors of your churches, the bishops of your churches. Because they're asking me questions. Saying, what we got to do? I don't want this generation to go away. But you know what? The numbers are the numbers. Y'all look around your youth ministry, look around your college students that are coming to church, man, it's declining. We can't sit there and just put our head in the ground because we don't want to hear the answers. We have to talk about it. That's what leaders do. Leaders talk about the issues. Is it your fault? No. Is it your issue? Yes. We talked about this earlier. If you've been abused before, it wasn't your fault, but it is your issue. My parents got divorced. My dad beat my mom growing up. Guess what? Not my fault. But guess what it is? My issue. Your church may not be your fault, but it is your issue. And for you to put it on somebody else, say, well, they need, no, that's wrong. That's disobedient. The one thing I guarantee you is your fault is if nothing changes, that's your fault. Especially after today. After today, if nothing changes, it's your fault. It's your fault if it stays the same, it's your fault because you are a leader. And God wants to raise you up to do something. You must work with the current leadership in there. You ain't supposed to overhaul them. That's crazy, foolish talk. David came in and said, Saul, how can I serve you? Play the harp, okay. Joshua came and said, Moses, how can I serve you? You got to come in and serve them, but provide them with ideas. And that's what I'm trying to help you get good at thinking about here. So, cookouts. For someone else, you need to come up with ideas. It would be easy. You don't want to invite your friends to family fun day because it ain't fun. It's church till 4:30 and no one wants to come to that. So, what do they want to come to? I'm going to come to you afterwards. I'm going to go, you back your hand up, and I'm going to go back there. Go ahead. Thank you.
Stuff that doesn't involve the preacher or people don't understand all that yelling and stuff.
So relevant speaking. Let me tell you what you just did. You want to know why everybody's afraid to voice their opinion? It's because there's not enough people like you in the room. Because she was trying to get her words out, and she knew what was in her heart and her mind. But sometimes, for a lot of us, especially when you're called upon to speak in front of people, it gets real scary. It gets, and you stumble a little bit to get, because not everybody flies around the nation as a professional speaker. So I can do it real quick. Why? I do it every single day of my life. So it's not hard for me. But most people don't get to do this. So they try to think about, and it's not because they don't know what they want to say. She said it flat out what she wants to say. Exactly what she wants to say, she knew it right in there. God put it in her heart, in her mind, in her leadership, it was in there. But guess what? There are not enough people like you. Who, as soon as she started stammering with that at the beginning, and it's not because she don't know how to say it, or she's not devoted to what she wants to say or committed to it, it's because she needed to get it out. And guess what you said? You said, it's all right, take your time. Every man in this room needs to look me in the eye right now. You need to be like that. Any girl in the environment that you sit in, if there's this many guys, there ought to be 15 different voices saying, it's all right, girl, take your time. Just say it. We want to hear what you want to say. You're fine. You know what would happen in an environment where it was safe to try to figure out what you say? When nobody was going to snicker and laugh at you because they're so immature and so insecure and so, I don't know what to do, so I just laugh, and that makes everyone feel so insecure. Nobody can do it. And then the mature ones let it keep going because they don't know how to stop it. You stopped it. That don't mean, it doesn't mean you got to be the best person in the world, the most perfect person, the best. No, all it means is this. I'm going to create an environment where it's safe to figure out what you really think and talk about it. Because the snickering that goes on a lot of times is just because you're so immature, you don't know what else to do. So you just snicker and laugh. That's sometimes stuff just flat out funny. And that's fine. But sometimes we create environments where nobody wants to share what they feel because they don't want to be laughed at. You don't want to raise your hand and say what you think. Why? Because you think everyone's looking at you waiting to laugh. Why? Because you sit there and wait to laugh. And so it needs to change. If you want to go back to your churches and change things, you can't, you know what, I cannot preach the Bible right now. I can preach the word of God, but the reality is this the kind of stuff Jesus taught his disciples. He didn't sit there and just break down the Gospels all day long, because the Gospels being lived. But he didn't break down the Old Testament the whole time. You know why? He would give them principles from the Bible, but then he would give them practical teaching. He would say, this is how you have to lead the people to me. Do it like this. If they don't listen to your message, shake the dust off your feet, move on. Don't worry about washing your hands, make sure your heart's clean. That's not what in the Bible. It was common talk to try to do it the right way. And sometimes we just need to spend a little more time talking like this. And I watched what happened in her. She went from being somebody who's trying to figure it out, as soon as she heard a man, especially a man's voice say it's okay, instantly calm came over her. And she, boom, it came right out. And if you're a young man in this place, it don't take much. It doesn't take much. But God is looking to you to set that kind of environment up. You want to see what happens in a church where everybody's safe to fail and safe to figure it out? Folks start putting out some brilliant stuff, and nobody will be afraid to share what they really want. How do you relate to what I just said? You relate to that. You're like, you know what? I relate to that. That relates to me. All right, good. So relevant speaking. Relevant speaking. All right. Somebody else. What's something else good that would be, you know, like something you're like, I like to invite my friends, or this could change, and this would be something that I think that would improve stuff for us to invite our friends to. Yeah, man, with the camera in your hand.
I think it's just a church without the grown-ups in it. A church without the grown-ups.
Your own service? So you young people don't have your own service? Is that what I understand? You do?
Sometimes.
You do? Do you not go to it? Do you guys at your church? Do you have a service with just young folk you go to?
In the morning.
Huh?
In the morning.
No, not Sunday school. Like a church service, but young folk. Youth.
Oh.
Every week, I don't care when it is. Okay, answer me this. Are you all willing to you want to know the truth of the matter? For that to happen, guess who got to put it on? Yup. There you go. Somebody listening. It's your issue. You want the service, you need to go. I'm going to say, I know y'all pastors. I know them. I sit and talk with them. And they love young people. But they're waiting for the young people to step up and say, all right, we sit back and I guess we didn't know that you wanted us to do something. We thought we was waiting for you to tell us what to do. But they're not. They're sitting there waiting saying, who wants to reach their friends? And anybody who will step up and say, Pastor, man, could you put a leader in front of us, somebody that will help us gather this thing together and do something where we can invite our friends to it. But guess what? It's going to take all y'all to do it. And that's where you'll have to, that's where leadership comes in. Because now this is what happens when it goes wrong. You're going to blame everybody else. When something don't come together as you planned it, now you want to start blaming everybody why. And people get discouraged, people don't want to try again, and people quit because the first time, the second time, the third time, they don't go that great. So now you're like, come in and skip it. So you go right back to your day Sunday school and the big services you want to be a part of, family fun day, nobody wants to bring their friends to, and you're in church till 4:30 sitting back at a conference with a pastor from California talking about, that's why I don't like it. I ain't coming back next year and having the same talk. Next week we're going to talk about how to improve what we're talking about right now. But y'all need to take this stuff back home and say, look, what can we do? How can I serve under, like I preached yesterday, how can I serve underneath with an authority that doesn't say, give me what I want, but come and says, how can I help build you up? That's authority. That's Jesus' authority. It's an authority that comes from the inside, not the outside. It's not a title. It's not a pastor. It's not a bishop. It's something in the heart that says, I want to serve. I want to serve him. I want to serve him. I want to serve him. I want to figure out the way you just served her. You served her life by saying, you matter, and I'm going to lift you up. Simple things like that. That stuff like that, that's what I'm talking about. Learning how to serve underneath your guys' ministries. And if you don't do it, man, you're going to have the same stuff you have right now. Nothing's going to change. We just want to have a little talk session right now. But I want to get these ideas turned so that you can have something to go back with and at least say, all right. And you ain't got to be perfect to lead. You got to be willing to change.